Hey there, it's Saturday, it's March. I happen to have a leap day baby, so we are celebrating his birthday today, even though there's no February 29th today. This might be a little personal, but I think that it's relatable because we claim we're a Christian household, and the siblings in our household don't have what I would call Christian relationships. I pray about it a lot. I teach them how to treat each other. But the reality is their emotions are not matching up with the teaching. We do have an interesting dynamic. I'll be talking about my two boys. They are 8 years apart. And so my firstborn son turned 17 today, and his little brother is 8. And without going into too many details about the effects of puberty and that adolescent period where they are starting to get more emotional and life isn't quite as easy as it used to be when the youngest was younger. A lot of emotions, and it's a daily thing, and we work through it every single day. And but you know, unfortunately, the two brothers call themselves enemies quite frequently lately. And my youngest, not feeling very loving, was kind of telling me this morning how he wishes it wasn't his brother's birthday because he's not very nice to him. And it just makes me think about love, of course. As he said that, he then went on to say, yeah, I know, you're supposed to love your enemies. And I'm just thinking about it. If you love someone and get along with them and they're nice to you all the time and it's just good and peaceful experiences every time you're together, it's likely really easy to love them. But when you have friction with anybody, especially somebody in your own house, I don't take kindly to the fact that they would call themselves enemies, but I do kind of understand the dynamic of siblings. And I do hope and pray that they are best buddies when they grow up. But at the current time, our reality is what it is, and we're going to keep trudging through it. But I was just thinking about how hard it is to love your enemies and how much more work it must take to love someone that's not good to you. And that's what God calls us to do. I mean, He calls us to love our enemies, and He calls us to turn the other cheek. And I will read more into the context, but at the current time, that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm teaching my boys. Even if you would go so far as to call your brother your enemy, you are still called to love that person. And in my opinion, it's much easier to find the things that you like about each other and treat each other with love, that brotherly affection, than it would be to love someone who's constantly mean to you and then being mean back to them. So I know that this is more of a personal topic. The intricacies of the relationships in my home, I'm not either of those boys, and it makes me a little uncomfortable sometimes talking about it. But because I'm so invested, and I know that it gets discouraging for me as a mom to watch siblings not get along as well. They weren't always this way. When our youngest was younger, I have many pictures of the older brother being a good brother to him, and he actually has kind of turned a corner and he started trying a little bit, but now they've got some habits that they need to break. And you know, I know and understand it's a process, and it's going to take grace and love and ultimately God's work in each of their hearts, and I'm doing the best I can. And I understand that probably is similar to some other homes that may be listening, which is why I decided to share. But I am almost to my destination at the moment, so I'm going to let you go. We're making some chili and hot dogs tonight, and I have a chocolate fountain for dessert. We're going to celebrate our little boy, who is now over 6 feet and is turning 17 today. So it's a wild ride to be a parent. You know, you're watching little boys start as little boys, and then as they get older and they're taller than you watch them turn into men right before your eyes. And I know that he still has childhood years left, but I've been just so pleased with watching him blossom this past year, and I hope and pray that that continues. And we love him and we're proud of him, and wishing him a happy birthday. So on that note, have a great day.